Welcome to the What You Got Sis podcast. I'm PGC, your host, here with your co-host, Audrey Renee. Yay!
Yeah, we're back.
Hey. It's been a minute, sis. Welcome back to the What You Got Sis podcast. We've been on hiatus for a little bit. So I think that we've missed Black History Month, Women's History Month, the celebration of the resurrection, and now we find ourselves in the month of May, which is not bad because it's our birthday month. Yeah. So we've been missing in action for a minute, but we're back. Let's see. I think that where we'll start is honoring Black history and women's history. So we'll chat a little bit about women who, who didn't just know the assignment, but they also completed the assignment. And I would say several episodes ago, we posted about knowing the assignment. And it's, when you know the assignment, that's wonderful. But it can't stop there. You have to complete the assignment.
Amen.
And I think we'll go from there and we'll cap off our time with an acknowledgement of someone who knew and completed the ultimate assignment. And I'm talking about Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get after it. So, sis, let's start with the woman you want to highlight, Esther. Yes, she is one of my favorite biblical people. Tell us about Esther.
And mine as well. Yes. Esther was a very beautiful woman. So beautiful, in fact, that she was recruited to be in the king's harem. And as we could probably imagine, only the best of the best and the creme de la creme would get to go and be in the king's harem.
Yes.
But as we later learn in that story, she wasn't just beautiful outside. She was strong and beautiful and courageous inside as well. What happens is there was another man that was really close to the king, and he hated Malachi. His name was Haman. So in order to get at Mordecai, what he did was he went to the king and said, you know what? These Jewish people, they won't even bow and worship you. That's not like all the other people. So we need you to stand and edit, and these people that won't worship you, I think they should be put to death. Well, this whole thing was directed at the Jewish people to her Mordecai. Because Mordecai would expose the sin that Haman was committing in his life. So he didn't care that much for Mordecai. Well, in comes Esther. And Esther is recruited as a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in the king's court, and, they're trying to determine who's going to be queen, because he'll pick one to be queen. Well, Esther found favor with the king. During the same time that she found favor with the king, then the edit is put out there and published, and so now she's in a precarious situation because she don't want to make king mad because she want to be queen. At the same time, if she doesn't act, then all of her countrymen, all of her relatives, everybody that's related to her will be killed. So she makes the decision to do what she has to do to save her kinsman. She didn't have to. She could have just saved herself.
But even if that meant she would be killed, she was willing to do that.
Yeah. Because she very well could have been killed.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we look at that culture, women weren't honored in that culture, and they were expendable.
Just like the first queen, Vashti.
Yeah. So she risked everything, and against all odds, she went up against the the entire establishment and said, well, these are my countrymen, and I can't let them get killed. And for her, she began to believe that that was the reason that God raised her up. It would seem now, in hindsight, that maybe it was. The Jewish religion has a holiday that celebrates her and this story, and it's called the Feast of Purim. So she got a whole holiday,
Mm-hmm.
and she is that girl, the Angele woman. She can bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan.
Yeah, and my take,
That's my woman. That's my girl story.
yeah, I love Esther. My take on it was how about Mordecai sending her word to remind her of the assignment? Okay, so he came correct with her. He basically said, look here, cuz remember how you got here? I'm reminding you of the assignment. But if you allow fear to control how you respond in this moment, I am confident that deliverance will come from somewhere else, but it ain't going to work out for you and your family. And to me, it seems that right there, those words hit Esther. They must have hit her hard because she walked right through that fear by calling a corporate fast. And she decided, I am going to complete the assignment. And if I perish, I perish. Now that was a sister who knew and completed the assignment. And it didn't matter to her what it cost her in the end. Look at God. And this is one of the books that God, the word God is never mentioned. And he still shows out. He still shows out. You won't find the word God mentioned in this book. He don't have to be even mentioned to show out. So thank you for that, sis. Esther is one of my favorite stories of the Bible. So I do appreciate that. Now I have another list of other women who knew and completed the assignment. So we know about the Ida B. Wells, the Rosa Parks, Sojourner Truths, but have we heard about Daisy Bates? I bet many people haven't. Daisy Bates was an African American civil rights activist and newspaper publisher. Through her newspaper, she documented the fight to end segregation in Arkansas. Another woman was Unita Blackwell. She was born to sharecroppers in the Mississippi Delta. She rose from humble beginnings to become a heroine of the civil rights movement. I tell you, there are some phenomenal black women in our history that we seldom come across or talk about.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, they just pick a couple of well-known people out, and they just focus on those. But we had strong and awesome women all through history, or we would not be where we are today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We stand on their shoulders.
Yes. Those were just a few everyday women who knew and completed the assignment. Family and friends, we cannot impress upon you the importance of knowing and completing the assignment. For this purpose you were created, or as Mordecai would put it, for such a time as this. So that covers our February, March, and April is like the Super Bowl for Christians when it comes to resurrection, right? The resurrection brings hope and the ultimate show of love for us. But also, I forgot to mention that the month of May is also Mental Health Awareness Month, right?
Yes, May is the Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's a wonderful time to just do a little self-check and see where you are. It's just about halfway through the year, so it's a good time to reflect back on where you were in the beginning of the year, where you are now, and where you'd like to go for the rest of the year, or where you hope to be at the conclusion of this year. With everything that's going on in our society, it would be a little strange if we didn't experience at least some minor difficulties coping and just trying to stay peaceful and okay. So this is just a good time to just kind of do a self check and say, hey, am I okay? How am I feeling? Uh, has anything drastically changed in my behavior? And it would be a good time to check in on family and friends too, just to make sure that everybody's okay. So that if there are some issues, we can just take care of them and they don't have to become major issues.
Yes. It's a good time to remember to be mindful of the stigma that surrounds mental health issues, to, you know, to understand that there's nothing wrong with seeking help.
Absolutely. And, you know, particularly in African American culture, we haven't, hardly any of us have been receptive to receiving counseling or therapy because we were just taught to be strong, don't cry, and, put your big girl shoes on and get out there and do it.
Mm-hmm.
We were taught to put others before ourselves. And really, we have allowed ourselves to be last so long that now it's a challenge when we try and say, okay, wait a minute, I need to take care of me. Then you might have some feelings about that.
Mm-hmm.
However, the truth of the matter is that if we don't take care of us, we won't be able to take care of anyone else. And while there is still a lot of stigma associated with mental illness, the fact of the matter is if you don't take care of your mental health and your emotional health, then that also leads to physical issues. And
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
it leads to, physical disabilities, physical ailments, and, stress can and does kill people.
Mm.
So it's just something to be aware of while we're looking at this month and just acknowledging mental health. Hug your mental health professional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good.
Okay, sis, what else you got?
Hey, I wanted to talk a little bit about the ultimate person who knew the assignment and completed the assignment, and that's Jesus. So I wanted to put that in, even though this is past Resurrection or Easter Sunday, um, it's still important for us to remember the sacrifice that he made for us.
Absolutely. You know, and here's 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 my thing. We always say that yes, Jesus died for us, and he did. But not only did he die, but he got up.
Mm, mm,
He didn't stay dead. He
mm,
got up,
mm.
and that's where our hope lies.
Yes,
That's
yes,
where our hope lies.
yes,
Uh, you know, that is the model for us. That's perfect love.
yes,
While we were yet his enemies, he died for us.
yes,
I
yes.
mean, you might die for your child or your mother or your brother or your sister, somebody that you love. But would you die for an
Mm-hmm.
enemy?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And let's just look at it from the father's perspective.
Mm.
We have children. Happy Mother's Day, by the way.
Yes, happy Mother's Day, dear.
We have children, but what would it take for us to say, okay, here's my child. You march my child up on a hill and nail my child on an old rugged cross to save a bunch of people that don't like me.
Mm. Mm. Mm-mm.
Wow.
Mm. You just said the two things that I wanted to point out. Um, and the resurrection is why we live the way we live, believe the way we believe, love the way we love. And it's where our hope comes from. You hit right on those two things, love and hope. It is the very foundation of knowing the assignment and where the imperative of completing the assignment is derived. He did what it took in order to complete it. The anguish, suffering, sorrow, unimaginable pain, and death was all a part of him knowing the assignment. But as you said, on the third day, yeah, that's where the assignment was completed. The resurrection, completion of the ultimate assignment that only he could complete. Says, right there, you can go ahead and finish this out because this is is good. It's good for me, and I could just drop the mic right there.
That model. And, it all comes back to love. Jesus taught so much about love. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love the Lord your God. And some of the last things that he told his disciples was, love one another as I have loved you. By this they'll know that you're my disciples, that you have love one for another. So that had to be really important because those were some of the last things that he said to them. It was almost a dying declaration.
Yes.
So when we look at that, and then just think about some of the things that the word tells us about love. Perfect love casts out all fear. So for me, if you walk in love, then you'll fulfill all of the commandments and all the laws.
Yes.
That's the fulfillment of it.
Yes.
And of course, we can't do it, but the Spirit of God that is up with us will direct us into all truth.
Yes.
And we can walk in it as long as we have some help. And, when I was a young Christian, I would think that, why did Jesus have to die? Why did we have to kill him? Wasn't it another way? Was it another way? That's so sad. Why did he have to die? But he had to go. He went to prepare a place for me. And he left the comforter because the Spirit can be everywhere all at once.
Yes.
And the good news is, he left, but he's coming back.
Yes.
He's coming back.
Yes.
And the tomb is empty. That's all I can say.
Yes.
The tomb is empty.
Yes. Yes.
He is not there. Yeah. So coming out of Easter and Resurrection Sunday, I love this time of the year. It's spring.
Yes.
And it's like the newness of life.
Yes.
And the trees are budding and the birds are singing. It's really a beautiful time of the year to be alive.
Yes. Yeah. So just capping out the resurrection, I would say, as we are about to close out this episode, to think about what your assignment is, your purpose. We encourage you to keep pushing. As Esther speaks, if I perish, I perish. No matter the risk, complete the assignment. And before we head out of here, I said shout out, like you already did, Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And congratulations to my youngest son, your nephew, on his marriage to his beautiful wife, Kayla. Congratulations, Patrick and Kayla. Just a shout out to you guys. You got anything else, sis, before we wrap this up?
No, I'm good. I think we've covered a lot of ground.
In just a few minutes. I mean, we done went through, what, February, March, April, May.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for popping on, sis.
Always a pleasure, lady. Always a pleasure.
And we're out.